So this is a very, very interesting topic. How do we rate our passengers? We can rate them 1 to 5 stars, right? We always hope that we get a 5-star rating after our trip. Why? Because we don't want our ratings to drop too much. We don't want to be kicked out of the system. We don't want to be deactivated. We don't want to have to do these quality classes again to get back into the system. You lose money. Now, I have a lot of people that come to me. A lot of people 4.6, 4.7. I started, I dropped down. Please help me to get back up again. And we systematically work back to 4.8, 4.9 and higher. Takes a few weeks, but I get all of them back there. The one thing I can tell you is I listen in great detail what they are doing. How did they get from 4.8 or 4.9 down to 4.6? And I ask a lot of questions, and I want absolute clarity and truthful answers on those questions so I can determine what happened here and how we get back up the ladder. Now, there are many drivers out there, huge mistake, that think they can punish a passenger by giving him lower stars when he or she doesn't tip. So you don't tip me, I believe I gave you good service, you don't tip me, I'm going to punish you with the stars. Doesn't work that way. It's the most craziest concept and thing to do to your passengers, because it backfires, and let me tell you why. And when I've asked many of these drivers, they've admitted, yeah, screw them, I'll punish them and I'll give them 3 stars if they don't tip me. Completely backfires on you. Here's why. When you end your trip, there's a few things that you have to do to get your very next trip. It'll prompt you to rate that passenger. So we end the trip, get the payment, we have to rate them 1 to 5 stars. Idiot didn't tip me, 3 stars. Okay, that rating, just as you follow your ratings, passengers, believe me, they want to be 5 stars as well, right? They do not like to drop down, just like we don't like to drop down. So here's the thing, we rate them before they rate us. They have many days when they can actually make that rating. They could make that rating on day 3 on their driver. We drivers, however, are prompted to immediately rate them. So if you're going to turn around and think you are going to punish someone by giving them 2 or 3 stars because they didn't tip you, it'll immediately show up on the driver's rating, on the passenger's ratings, and they see they dip down. They dip down from a 4.8 maybe to 4.75. They know that was influenced by you. Now they have the power to rate. Now it's their turn to rate. They wait first. Now they rate. You're going to get an even lower rating. You're going to get a 1 star, okay? And that's going to push you down. So many of these passengers will retaliate in that way. It's to your detriment, right? So how, at the end of the day, how do we really rate them? Okay, look, I've heard videos of people saying, oh, you know what, if the guy doesn't speak in the car, whatever, and there's no energy, we'll give them maybe 4 stars. That qualifies for 4 stars. My theory is different. They paying, you making the money, customer's the king. Okay, and they're not always the king. If somebody misbehaves and throws a tantrum in a restaurant and orders 5 different bottles of red wine because they always say it smells too much of cork, there's a time and a place when a restaurant manager can kick out an obnoxious client, right? So the client is not always right. But in generally speaking, you may come across that passenger again. I have driven some people 5, 6 times because I would start off in that area. I catch them at that particular time, right? So imagine I just gone in and screwed up that person's rating the first time. I would suffer every time thereafter. The guy's going to punish me with the stars, right? Or if he sees me show up on the screen, oh, this guy, no, cancel, wait for the next guy, right? So it'll play out in many forms. So I say rate a passenger 5 stars unless you really have a reason to rate them lower. And if you do rate them lower, I usually back it up with a comment. I have handed out 1 stars. I've had passengers deactivated. Okay, that's a fact, right? Because if someone steals from your car or takes things out or just trashes your place, right, they are not going to get 5 stars. That's the bottom line. And usually, if it's such crazy behavior, or there's something very strange going on and they get a 1 star from me, it's backed up by a report to Uber, so I have a backing, right? I will request to Uber that they block that passenger. I do not get them again. And they've done it. They've written back to me and say, you know what, block that passenger, is not going to show up in your system again. I have told Uber at times I never ever want to drive that individual again, and I've given them strong reasons why. And many of these people shouldn't be driving or shouldn't have the privilege to drive with us drivers, these passengers. But there's checks and balances. They rating us, we rating them. Always remember, we rating them first. They react, they see, and then they rate us. Okay? So it can come back to bite you horribly. And you can drop very, very quickly if you think you're going to go out there, didn't tip, punish him 3 stars, didn't tip, punish him 3 stars. The same's happening on your end, and even worse, and you're in a free fall. So take that into consideration. Look, if someone throws up in your car, I ask myself, does that, is that a 1 or 2 or 3 stars, right? I let them in. I should have known, right? So thank God in my car I've never had anybody thrown up. But when I have these weekly meetings with my drivers and I get the feedback, you know, I say to them, you've got to know who's getting in your car. If you know that this guy is about to throw up, you know, you're taking a chance here. You really are. Because on a busy, busy Saturday night, if the guy throws up in your car, my night would be over, you know. Thank God, knock on wood, it's never happened to me. But if you are missing out 4 or 5 hours of good driving because somebody threw up in your car, the $80 compensation for the cleanup is not going to make up for the few $100s that you could potentially get in SUV, Select, Black, whatever the categories that we drive in. So yeah, you got to really weigh it up. You got to see your people, read your people. If they come with no energy in the car, even if they don't greet you, they may have had a rough day or they had a shitty meeting. To punish them with lower stars because of their energy levels is just simply the wrong thing to do. They paying you, they should deserve the 5 stars unless they do something that really, really compromises their ratings. In that case, you could rate them low and back it up with a comment to Uber. I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you.